The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Chapter 10. While I found a bride, Quasimodo was being taken to jail. The guards pushed him as they led him to the dungeon. He did not understand why he was being badly treated. The guards dragged the hunchback to a jail in the Palace of Justice. One guard kicked the hunchback. The others laughed. They threw him into the tiny cell and locked the door. Quasimodo shook the iron bars of his cell, but even his strength could not break them. He put his head in his hands and began to cry. Quasimodo did not know what was happening to him. Sometimes the guards talked to him, but he could not hear what they were saying. The sound of bells had ruined his hearing. Only the archdeacon knew how to talk to Quasimodo. Why were the guards hurting him? Why had they locked him in a cage? I was only doing what I was told, he moaned to himself. The hunchback was right. The archdeacon had ordered Quasimodo to bring the girl to him. She is a witch and must be punished, the archdeacon had told Quasimodo. The archdeacon was like a father to him. The hunchback always did what the archdeacon told him to do. Why was he being punished for doing as he was told? Quasimodo pulled at his hair in despair. What would the guards do to him? Would the archdeacon ever find him? Would he ever see his beloved bells again? These sad thoughts were interrupted by the guards. They came back to his cell to get him. The men grabbed Quasimodo and held him. Though he was stronger than the guards, this time he did not fight. They put chains on his arms and legs. The chains rattled with Quasimodo's every movement. Then they led him through a long hall to a strange room. The room was filled with books. Quasimodo did not know how to read, but he did know what books were. Even the archdeacon did not have so many books. Quasimodo saw only one man in the room. The man was old and had a fuzzy gray beard. He wore long black robes and was sitting at a high desk. A large book was in front of him. The book was open and the man was writing in it. He dipped a feather pen into a pot of ink and wrote some more. The guards brought Quasimodo to the front of the room. He stood before the high desk. The man at the desk was still busy writing. One of the guards spoke. "Your Honor," he said, "we caught this man stealing a woman." At that, the man stopped writing, but he still did not look up. "He must stand trial," the old man said. His voice was shaky. "Yes, Your Honor," the guard replied. The old man continued to write in his book. Quasimodo did not know that the old man was the bailiff. Everyone feared him. His job was to enforce the law. If a man or woman was caught breaking the law, they were taken to the bailiff. A trial would be held. The bailiff would hear the details of the crime and pass judgment. The bailiff made sure the criminals were punished. Quasimodo did not understand this. No one told him he was on trial. Quasimodo did not even know he had done wrong. This did not matter to the bailiff, who was a cruel man. Quasimodo stood before the bailiff. Guards stood on both sides of him. He hung his head and stared silently at the floor. The bailiff still did not look at Quasimodo. He just kept writing. A long time passed before the bailiff spoke. "Name?" he asked Quasimodo. Quasimodo did not know the man was speaking to him. He stared at the floor. The bailiff stopped writing, but did not look up. "Name?" he said again. Quasimodo was silent. One of the guards poked him and pointed to the old man. The hunchback looked up at the old man. The bailiff began writing again. "Age?" the bailiff asked. Quasimodo saw the man's lips move. He thought he was being asked his name. "Quasimodo," he said loudly. He smiled up at the bailiff. The bailiff stopped writing and put down his pen. Finally he looked down at Quasimodo. His eyes opened wide when he saw the monster standing in front of him. "What is this ugly creature doing in my court?" the bailiff cried. "He was trying to steal a woman, Your Honor," a guard answered. "A serious crime," the bailiff said. He stared down at Quasimodo. Then he pointed at the hunchback. "What do you have to say for yourself?" he asked the hunchback. Again Quasimodo saw the man's lips move. Again he answered, "Quasimodo." Then he continued, I am Quasimodo, the bell ringer at Notre Dame, he stated proudly. I am 20 years old. The bailiff was very angry. Why don't you answer my questions? He shouted. I am Quasimodo, answered the hunchback. I am the bell ringer at Notre Dame. I am 20 years old. The bailiff slammed his book shut. Quasimodo the bell ringer, the old man said loudly, for your crime I sentence you to 25 lashes in the public square. The whipping will take place in 3 days, he finished. But Quasimodo was still confused. He answered in the only way he knew how. Quasimodo, he said, the bell ringer of Notre Dame, 20 years old. Why does he say that over and over? The old man asked the guard. He is deaf, your honor, the guard replied. Deaf, eh? The old man said. I don't like deaf people. For that, he will stay an extra hour on the wheel.